Hello, it's been a long time since I did this. I think it's probably sometime last year. Good to see you. Thanks for popping by. So I've been fairly busy since my last live, doing lots and lots and lots of things. So let me tell you a bit about them. Hi. So hello. I'll just wait a second until a few more people pop in. Hello. It's been a very long time, I know. Some of you have been asking me to do this again and it's hard. But hopefully I can get back to a bit more of a routine soon. Hello, lovely to see you. Thanks for popping by. So if you're in lockdown, I hope you're doing okay. Been there, done that. Hello. Hi, darling. Nice to see you too. Yes, if you're in lockdown still, hope things are going okay. Hope you're out soon. Thankfully here in Victoria we're pretty good. We've got no community transmission at the moment, so all of our plans are going ahead within the state. Hi, hello, all around the world. Oregon, Chile, fantastic. So good to see you. Thank you for coming by and watching. So I've been very, very busy. The big news at the moment is, of course, my latest book, my 5th book, Square Patchwork, is out, almost out, depends where you are. So this is what I've been doing for probably more than the last year. So I know this is going to be the wrong way around for you. I can't mirror my video. But this is Granny Square Patchwork. It's quite thick, 180 something pages. And it's what's been keeping me busy for a long time. So there's 40 Granny Square patterns in here of 6 different sizes. Let me just show you. So we have small patterns, these are size 1 patterns, and all of the patterns in here are in a written format and also charted format. I've done them all in one colour, just like in Granny Square Flair, and there's a couple of different colour options that were done by some very lovely people. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. So that's one size patterns. Then we have bigger patterns, slightly bigger. Hi! Again, all charted and written and colours. Yes, so there are 6 different size patterns, all the way through to some really big ones. There's size 6 patterns. There's some of those there. I have included some of my old favourites in here, so you'll find the Mayan pattern in here, which is a popular pattern from a crochet along I did a few years ago. The Hope pattern is in here, as well as my Mandalay patterns are all in here. But other than that, they're pretty much all new patterns and all put together in new ways. There's not only the 40 patterns, but there's also 12 projects you can make, and I've got them here to show you. But I just want to talk about the book a little bit first. So it's available from me if you're in Australia or New Zealand, because I can handle postage from here. If you are in the US, UK, Europe somewhere, then you can pre-order it still online, places like Amazon, Barnes & Noble. If you search your local online book retailer, you should be able to find it hopefully while it's in pre-order. The official release date is the 16th of July, so next Friday, not this one coming, the one after. And it should have started appearing all the way around the world after that date if it's not in pre-order at the moment. So yay, it's very exciting seeing lots of people receiving it in the mail now. And I've even seen some patterns already started. Let's see if I can find, where is it? Where are you? I think this is going to be one of the most popular patterns here. This pattern here is called Nymph. That's the 4th biggest size pattern. And I love it too. It's one of my favourites, and I've seen somebody's already made that from the digital version that they've bought. That's what I should say too. If you want just the digital copy of this, you can get it from me in my shop. The book is available in UK and US. This is the US terms version, but there's also UK. And there's also paperback, which feels lovely and soft, and hardcover. So paperback, hardcover, digital, whichever way you prefer, it's available for you. So some of the projects in here, this big, huge blanket on the front there uses all 40 patterns in the book. So it's all about patchwork. It's about making your own things. So you can put different size squares together, because all the sizes all match up nicely. I've included a planning grid for you in the book. There's little grids and squares that you can print out, copy, cut out and muck around with, play with your layout. You could use all the same size pattern, you can mix them all up. But there's also 6 patterns in here that are called them extensions and borders, that you can use to make any pattern size the next size up or as a border for your project. So there's little patterns there to do that. But the projects, instead of me showing you them from the book, let me show you the actual projects that you can make with the book. So one of them is this big tote bag, and that's made with, it's a merino super duper chunky wool, using just the first few rounds of one of the patterns in the book. But inside here I have lots of the other ones. So this is a little cowl or headband, so you can wear it like, I'm not going to do it now because I'm going to make up my curls, so you can wear it around your neck or as like a headband. This is made using Great Ocean Road 100% alpaca, and this is the natural toffee colour. So I could actually take a photo of the animal that this fibre came off. It's pretty cool. And it's lovely and soft. It's really cool. That's one project in the book. Here's another one. It's a scarf using 2 different sized patterns. So that cowl just used the same pattern. That's a pattern called Caboodle. I just made 4 of those. But this scarf here uses 2 different sizes. So we've got one size here and then a smaller size, and they fit together. They work together really well. So a bit of a word about yarn. I use predominantly Australian yarns in the book, but I've given you all the information so that you can substitute a yarn for where you are. You never have to use the same yarn that I do. In fact, you can change it completely. Like, I designed all of the patterns and they're listed in there in 8-ply or DK or light worsted weight, but I made this with sock yarn. You can absolutely mix up the types of yarns, the yarn weights, the hook sizes that you use, and it will all still work. So it's all about creating what you want to create. So that's a little scarf with a multicoloured sock yarn. I thought I didn't have them here, but I did. Oops. The smallest project in the book is just a little necklace I've made using linen yarn. So I'm actually making a few spare of these to have at the Bendigo show next week, if you wanted to have one of those. What else is in here? Now I'm not really one for making crochet garments, but I did make this one. So using the Hope pattern, I've made this. It's a poncho. This is using, it's probably a bit hard to see actually, using a pearl box yarn called Oyster Yarns. Oh, I forgot now. It's all in the book anyway. Ghost Walk is the colour, but I've put this pattern in here. Hi! In the book, but I've also given you tips on how to make it larger, and it has an edging around it as well. So you might even, if you come into the Bendigo show, you might see me wearing it. Right, that's a couple of the projects, and then we get into, like, I like to make blankets. That's what I like to do. So this is one of the projects in the book, using 3 different sizes patterns. So there's just 2 squares that are quite large, not the largest size. This is the second largest size, so size 5 pattern. One there, and there's another one here. And then next to those, there's like a group of 4 patterns that are a different size, size 3 patterns, I think. So 3, 2 of those goes up to make one of those. And then all the way around the edge, I put the smaller size patterns. And then for the border, the edging is one of those border or extension patterns. This one's called Medley. I don't know if you've been following my Facebook and things, but there was a picture of a nice, lovely blonde young lass with wearing it over her back like a cape. That's what this blanket is. So that's just one way you can mix and match the squares. Then this blanket here, I didn't make. This was made for me by Sam. Thank you, Sam. the littlest stitch. So it's a square blanket. There's 2 different squares. One of the squares is size 5, the other one is size 4, but we added an extension. So that's what I mean by you can change the patterns up to the other size by adding one of the extension patterns. So this one's smaller than this one in the book, but you can make them the same size by using the extensions. So a bit more colourful than what I'm used to doing, but a little bit of something to mix it up, because I do like my neutrals and my blues. It's a big pattern. Okay, I won't be able to show you all of this. This is a project done in my blues. I've called this one Pastiche. That's right. So again, all different sizes. So we've got some large squares. I've made this in 10 ply yarn. So worsted weight is another way to think of that. So there's, I think, 3 or 4 different sized patterns in here. But because of the way, oh, there's a lovely end poking out I haven't dealt with. Because of the way that the patterns all work, you can mix and match whatever you like. So that's quite a big, that's a good, fits completely over a single size bed. It's quite big and heavy. But what else have we got in here? Ah, this one. Now some of the patterns in the book can, yeah, I like my blues too. Yes, hi Emily. Emily's just commenting on my curly hair. Probably last time I did a live, it was completely straight because I was straightening it and all that sort of stuff. I've finally embraced the natural me, so my hair is curly now. Some of the patterns in the book you can extend endlessly. So you can just repeat certain rounds and it will just keep going, get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I wanted to demonstrate that. So this is the foundation pattern as it appears in the book. But for the centerpiece, I've just extended it so that it's really, really big. And then each of the squares, I've used one of the extension patterns and around the center square. And then I've used that same extension pattern as the border in the alternate color. So this is my lovely baby blanket. This one's made in 4 ply cotton. So that's what I keep saying. You can use any weight yarn, it will all be good. This blanket, this is the only one not made in Australian yarn. This is made in Shapier's Katona cotton. And this was made for me by the lovely Kim in Queensland. So she chose the colours. So, when I mentioned before that each of the squares has, right page by accident, different colourways. Me too. And Kim, I had lots of people helping me. They had the patterns and then they decided on their own yarns and colourways. So Kim chose these colours and I really loved it. So I asked her if she would make me a sample blanket for it. So she did. So she made 9 of the squares. Now this is like a 4 ply yarn, so finer than what, the square is smaller than what it would be in my 8 ply. Hello Eva! Yes, so Kim has made this lovely, lovely blanket for me for the book using, so this is an example using just one of the patterns in the book. So you don't have to mix and match them all. If you like one, just use one. That's fine. Okay, now I have one more project left to show you. And it is, it's the blanket that you see on the cover. I've called it Conglomeration and it uses all 40 patterns as well as some of them 2 and 3 times. It's big, it's huge. I can't even hold it up because it's massive. So this is, it weighs 3.5 kilos. It's quite heavy. It's huge and I love it. It fits completely over my queen size bed, like down the sides as well. I'll try and open it up a little bit. There's one thing I didn't mention, like there's 6 different sizes patterns, but when you're mixing and matching them all, I'm going to talk in inches for a minute, okay? I started with, my smallest squares are 6 inches, and then the next size up is 9 inches. So there's a 3-inch increment when you're using 8 ply yarn. If you're using different yarns, there's different increments, and that's all in the book. But just for simple explanation's sake, let's just say 3 inches is the increment that everything goes up by. When you start mixing and matching all of your different shapes and sizes, if you want to use them all, there are some instances where there's going to be a 3-inch square gap. So There are also 4 patterns in the book that I talk about where you can just do the first few rounds and you will get a 3-inch square. So that's what I've done. You can see that here, hopefully. You can see there's a couple of 3 smaller squares. So there's 1, 2, 3 that go up to make match the size of a 9-inch square. This blanket also demonstrates something else, like the three, what am I talking about? The 6 patterns that you can use to extend. You can also, don't have to use them as a border or to extend a square, you can use them to extend a section. So when I was laying out all my squares, I had like a big rectangle and another rectangle, but there was a difference, a 3-inch difference from the top rectangle to the bottom rectangle. So what I did was I extended that big rectangle by, I'm just trying to find where it is. I did an extension around that section. Gosh, it's so big. Sorry, pardon me. Oh. No, it's not that end. Must be the folded up bit. Sorry, I should have been better prepared than this. Okay, here we go. So you can see this pattern here extends down beyond 1 square. So that whole section I have extended by 3 inches so it makes it all fit together. So yeah, so that is my conglomeration blanket, and I've had, like, the book's only been in people's hands for like a few days and I've already had 3 or 4 people start making this. They're so excited, which is awesome. It's a huge undertaking, but lovely to see. There is another one in there. This is the Mandalay blanket. I've included the pattern for that in there as well in the book. So that's basically all the book, or everything about the book. It's available now from me, as I said before. But that's not all I've been doing, of course. So, I mean, I did all the making of the patterns and designing and the testing and making all the projects. But then after that, it took a long while to put all of that together in this book. So while I was doing that, I still needed to crochet something. So I have designed my next cowl project. So at the moment I've got a crochet along going called I'm using, in my Facebook group and in my emails, I'm doing a cowl using this book, Granny Square Academy, that I put out last year that I wouldn't have shown you, I don't think, in my lives. I don't know. Anyway, so this book is for people who can do a traditional granny square, don't know how to read a pattern, or you're self-taught and you're not sure if you're doing all the little tricky things right. This book has 10 patterns and each one teaches you in really big detail, like, you know, all sorts of really close up, very detailed information about what you need to do, how to weave in your ends, how to read patterns, how to change colours, how to join, how to do everything. So at the moment I'm doing a cowl, we're up to week 9 of that. So I like to do a crochet along project, at least one every year. And that's going really well. People are enjoying it, doing lots of new things. But yes, I always like to have the next one on the go. And the next one I have finished designing is here. So what I've done is I have used that nymph pattern from the book as the centerpiece. Then I've used one of the extensions to make it bigger. And then I have added rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds. So we've got a few extra rounds to here. And then when it was about 50 inches, 30 inches square, that's right, I added a round of smaller squares. And then after that, I continued on. So at the end, this blanket is 50 inches wide. This is done in 8-ply yarn, and it fits perfectly on the top of my queen size bed. So that is going to be my next crochet along. So of course the designing bit is the easy bit. My pattern testers are testing it now, and I am hoping to release that by the start of next year. Yes, so it's going to take a long while to do, and I am going to produce it, where is it, in a booklet style. It'll probably be a cross between, this is a previous crochet along I did beneath the surface, that was for beginners, and this is very instructional, so it's going to be a mixture of that kind of thing. So not just a written pattern and chart, there's going to be a lot of extra support for this. So there'll be videos, there'll be round by round photos, there'll be detailed instructions and all the little tricky bits, but it's going to be doable by pretty much everyone, I think. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing it. But as I say, all I've done is written the pattern. It's been tested. I've got to do all the photos. I've got to make another sample. Thankfully, I have someone who's making me another sample in different colours. But I need to make a sample so I can take close-up photos and do the video and all that kind of thing. So that's going to take a long time, because not only have I got that on, between now and the big start of the year, we have a lot of things planned. Workshops, retreats, fun time. So I'm going to be traveling a lot, and which is awesome. Great that we can do that. I mean, fingers crossed at the moment. That's the plan. You know how things change. But at the moment, I have planned retreats. So Kylie from Yarn Creative, if you Google yarncreative.com.au, you'll see her website. There are 3 retreats that she's running around Australia that I'm teaching at. We have in this September in the Barossa Valley in South Australia. There are still places available in that. You can go and have a look at that. There's October in Queensland at O'Reilly's Rainforest Retreat, which I'm really looking forward to. That one's completely sold out. But while we're there in Queensland, because I have a lot of family up there, so does hubby, so he's going to come too. We're going to travel around, do some visiting, but I'm also going to run some other workshops around the Queensland area. Not too far north, or anyway, I still haven't got all the final details, but I will let you know as soon as I do, if you're up that way. In June 2022, I'll be heading to Launceston to do workshops with Kylie, which will be fun. And yes, but there's also something that has just been announced today, so you are hearing this first. I haven't told anybody else this. You are the first to know. In March 2022, I've been invited to teach at Grampians Textures, which is a really, well, I think prestigious and wonderful, very lovely event. It's run at Halls Gap, which is not too far, well, a couple of hours away from here, at the start of the Grampians Mountains. And I'm running 2 workshops. One is a 2-day workshop, like 2 whole days, where I've called it Elevate Your Crochet. So if you can do a traditional granny square, then I'm going to show you all the little tricks and things that you can do that maybe breaking the rules a little bit, learn the traditional way, and then figure out how you can do things better. That's what we're doing for 2 whole days. And then I'm doing a 4-day workshop as well. So there's 6 days this event runs for. And I'm going to be teaching Design Your Own Crochet Pattern. So I'm going to take you through everything from sitting down and making your very first design, writing it up. We'll do tech editing, we'll do all sorts of things. We're going to go really, really in depth. You don't need to want to be able to publish your own pattern, but if you want to make your own repeatable pattern that you can follow again in 10 years time, whatever, then I'm going to give you all the skills you need to do that. So I am really excited about that. If you Google Grampians Texture, you will see the program is just announced today. Yeah, and bookings open this weekend, I believe. There has to be minimum numbers reached for classes to go ahead, and I think it's 10 people have to be enrolled in every class. But I'm crochet, but I don't even know how many other tutors there are. There's even some 6-day master classes, lots of felting and weaving and sculpture and painting and all sorts of very creative people coming along. So I can't wait for that. It's very, very exciting. What else? Melbourne, early August. I am coming to Melbourne to do a couple of workshops, but I have to wait until the people I'm doing it for have given all of their customers first dibs at workshops. So I believe I'm allowed to talk about that next week in my newsletter. So I will do that. Yeah, but that's probably about it. I think that's enough. Does anyone have any little questions I want to put in quickly? If you want to know anything about anything that I do and you don't already, then sign up to my newsletter, because I put one out every week and tell you everything that I'm up to. I'm hopeless at keeping secrets, so there's lots of sneak peeks at future things. Yeah. That's about it really. So if no one has any questions, I think I'll leave it. Oh, there we go. Hello. Yes, Erin, Queensland. I really must get on to the organising that, and I've contacted a few people, but we need to do a bit of stuff, but we will get there. I'll let you know. As I say, in my newsletters I will put all the information. Will you be doing pattern writing workshop elsewhere in Melbourne? I may well be, but I have to. I'm not allowed to do it until after I have presented it at Grampians Textures. It's only for them at this stage. But yes, it's absolutely a possibility. All right. Well, I think I will leave it there. It was lovely to see you. Thank you so much for popping by. If you want to reach out at all, just leave a comment here. I'll check back on. I'll put this video up. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you. Woohoo! Yes, but pop any questions in and I'll come back and check later on and put links in and all that kind of stuff. But lovely to see you. Thank you for coming by, and thank you. Hopefully I will see you again and again soon. Thank you. Bye.